All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television and entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say, since we're talking about nostalgia, I am the Cartoon Network kid to John's Nickelodeon kid to Dave's Disney kid.
I was
And
not
I have
a Disney
no idea
kid.
if that's true.
I was not a Disney kid. I was a Nickelodeon. That was me. I was a Nick kid.
Well, I was definitely a Cartoon Network kid
Yeah.
because that's all we got.
Lucky.
I was maybe planted right between, actually. Come to think of it, there
Yeah.
were some I liked on one, some I liked on the other.
Oh.
Yeah,
You
all
want
with his head.
So wait,
No,
John, you're saying you want a couple shows from one thing and another for another thing, and then maybe make a whole service based on all your likes and interests from the 90s?
Yeah, if someone could tailor something like that for me, I would be interested.
Oh, well, maybe you could.
Oh my God.
We didn't plan
this.
this.
Is such an
We didn't
ad.
plan this.
Oh my
we didn't plan
God.
this. But that's what we're doing tonight, okay? So there's no summer movie draft this year because, well, there was no summer movies or just movies in general. But I wanted to do a draft. Tonight is my 30th birthday, and there's no place I'd rather be than with you two
Yeah, you sure about that?
on a Zoom call
Uh,
for my 30th birthday. But here we are, and this draft is kind of inspired by The Big Picture. It's a podcast, and they do a movie draft game where they pick a year and they draft a series of movies. But we mostly focus on TV. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a TV draft. And in honor of my 30th birthday, I want to go back to my childhood. I want to go back to the 90s and build a 90s streaming service. All right. So this draft will be 5 categories. Each player will choose one TV series in each category that had the premiere episode, the very first episode for that show, somewhere in the 1990s. It could be January 1st, 1990, all the way to December 31st, 1999. Anywhere in those 10 years, one episode, the premiere episode aired, it counts. Okay? Now, those 5 categories include drama series, comedy series, reality or animation. That's one category for both of them. Could be either or. A nostalgic childhood pick. And then finally, a wild card. That can be anything you want. Now, 2020, we saw numerous streaming services. You know, we saw Quibi show up and then leave. We saw HBO Max. We saw Peacock. So many different services. So think of this game like you are building a streaming service with your name on it. It's Kyle Max. It's John TV Plus. It's Dave Ibby. I don't know the Quibi version of that. So it may not be your favorite shows, but in the end, your name is going to be on this service. So you got to stand by your picks, okay?
Okay.
Your name is on this
Okay.
product. You have
Okay.
you have to feel something with these. And what we're going to do, we already pre-selected the draft using random.org. A different version of a snake draft. Round 1 and 2, we're going to go up and down, start ABC, CBA, and then that third round, the person that didn't have the first round pick, which is me, I'm the middle person. I will get the first round pick in the third round. Then we randomized that. And then we did the same thing for round 4 and 5, ABC, CBA. So that way we all get one first round pick.
And one of us gets screwed.
Yeah. But that was all up to random, because if we did it the other way, if we just did snake drafts the whole night, there would have been one person in the middle. There would have been, 3 first round picks for somebody. This way everyone gets a little bit of fair shot in there. Probably the best thing to follow this draft would be on YouTube. We are live on Twitch right now, but we will have the replay on YouTube, youtube.com/DualRedundancy. You can see the draft board there. You can see the draft order. It makes a little bit more sense there. But I think we're ready. I think we're ready for the draft. Any questions before we start? No? Bueller?
No.
Okay.
It's gonna be interesting.
All right. So in the pre-selected rotation, John, you get the first round pick, the first pick overall in here. And not only do you get to pick the first show, but each person that gets the first round pick gets to choose the category we're starting with. Again, drama, comedy, reality or animation, nostalgic, and wildcard. Where are you going and what's your first show?
Oh boy, I had a hard time making this list. I think I'm gonna hop right into nostalgic. I mean,
Okay.
Wow.
90s.
Oh.
What is 90s now? But nostalgia. No, I mean,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. I guess it could really be anything.
right? I mean, I don't know. I had a hard time deciding. I think what I'm gonna go with is gonna be SpongeBob for my pick.
Oh, all right. SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, interesting pick there because, I mean, this could have been your animation pick.
Could
You're
have.
going.
Wow.
You're going with nostalgic for SpongeBob SquarePants. Why SpongeBob?
Was pretty popular. Still pretty popular. I think it appeals to a fairly large range of audience, and I think when you think Nickelodeon, at least right now, and partially from the 90s, you can't not at least think of SpongeBob. No, I mean, yeah, there's some other shows from the 90s that are a little bit more cemented, maybe in the nostalgia land, but I think this has appeal, a longer arc of appeal, compared to some other shows. So.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Wow.
SpongeBob did come out 1999, so you made
Right
it
at
in
the
there.
end, yeah.
There's been 264 episodes, so you're getting a library there with SpongeBob SquarePants. I will say this was on my list, not only for nostalgic, but also for animation as well.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, where are we gonna go? Maybe I'll pick it in one and surprise the other. But no, you surprised me here with the nostalgic pick.
It fits into like almost 4 of the categories, to be honest.
Yeah, it really does. It could go any which way. You got pretty much the children can watch this, the adults can watch this. Kyle, what do you think of for this first pick?
Interesting pick by John. I did not see him going nostalgia first, and I am pumped because I have the next round and I know what I'm going to go with even for the next round. So interesting pick. I did not see this coming at all. So
yeah. Not to get too much weight.
I didn't even have SpongeBob on my list. I forgot that it had come out in the 90s.
Wow. Yeah. This one's tough. At the end, we're going to have to share other ones that were in categories because you don't want to give something away in the nostalgic fuel, because it could be in your wild card. It could be anywhere along the board. But yeah, so SpongeBob nostalgic. Kyle brings up, he gets the next first round pick. There's 2 categories. I was debating about which one to start with. I'll get to do one of them, so that's good. But I wonder if he's going to do the one of the 2 that I'm thinking of. Ooh, all right. But yeah, SpongeBob SquarePants. That is John's first pick. I get the second pick in this round. So where am I going to go for my nostalgic pick? All right. I will say SpongeBob was on my list, but I'm going to go with a show that aired on ABC. Many people may think it's on Disney Channel, but it was on ABC. 158 episodes of this 1993 show. Boy Meets World. When it's Boy Meets World, Boy Meets World. Life.
Wow.
All right. What do you think about the Boy Meets World pick?
Never saw it.
What?
Never saw Boy Meets World.
You guys never saw Boy Meets World? Well, guess what? It's on the David streaming service, and you can watch it. All 158 episodes.
No, that is not for me. You might be out on an island on that one. I've never seen who's in Boy Meets World.
You got Ben Savage. You have Ryder
Okay, I
Strong.
thought it was Ben.
Danielle Fisher. You got Corey, Sean, and Topanga. I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. Feeney. Feeney.
Okay, that's a lie. I've seen parts. I've never
Yeah.
seen a full episode of Boy Meets World.
This show, and even recently, it'll come up on whatever, Disney Channel, Hulu, Disney Plus, I don't know. But I get sucked back in. I remember watching this show. You know, you wanted to be Corey. You wanted to have a best friend in Sean, and then later a girlfriend in Topanga, childhood sweethearts, even though the first season or two makes zero sense because they like hated each other and they met different circumstances. It changes around a lot. But you see him grow up. He goes to middle school, high school, he goes off to college, he gets married, he sees the whole world. And I remember watching the Girl Meets World spinoff, kind of being a little excited. You know, oh, it's coming back. The Disney Channel reboot for a new generation. Corey's now a teacher and a parent, and see his girl meet the world. And it just didn't work on the Disney Channel. It was too soft. But Boy Meets World had legit, you know, episodes, whether it was about sex and drinking, and I mean it was on ABC, and it had a lot of life lessons, but it was funny. I think it's a good pick for the millennial generation, and it's a show that, you know, parents can watch with their kids. So I think I got that.
Sure. I for those that watched it, I think it's gonna be right up their alley. But I just never got into it. I don't know why.
All right, so
don't know why.
Kyle, your turn. Where you going?
I am liking where I'm at right now. Okay, considering the
play
rest
this back later. Play this later.
I
hate this. Oh, this is the worst.
Well, I do get screwed on the later rounds, so I'm gonna say I'm liking where I'm at right now. So, my nostalgic pick is Rugrats. Boom.
Ooh, okay.
Nostalgic pick. This spans generations. There are kids today that know what Rugrats is. Okay.
Tommy Pickles.
Yes. This is an animated show. I could have gone with animated. Okay. But I think it's just like SpongeBob. You can watch this as an adult. You can watch this as a kid. It's a good millennial pick. It has a wide range of audience. And it's that nostalgic factor. I mean, Rugrats is the 90s. I mean, to me, it is the 90s. And it's on merchandise everywhere. You know, I like that this fell to me at the third pick. How do you guys feel about this?
That was my second for nostalgia, so I think we're tracking fairly close.
That's on my list, right with SpongeBob SquarePants. I had a list of Nick shows that I could choose from, and I just didn't know. It's like, oh, do I go? Because this whole thing is going to be playing the game here. Because sure, John and you picked an animated show for the nostalgic pick. You could pick another animated show in the animation category later. And maybe I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll choose an animated one there, get a different nostalgic pick here, because I can't choose Boy Meets World for reality television. So it's all about playing the game. Rugrats is a good choice. Do you guys remember the Rugrats All Grown Up show? Do you remember that at all?
Ooh, that was not one to remember.
That was, I feel like
that was pretty bad.
I feel like it was when we were like those ages, though. I feel like when we were like 13, 14, they released one where it was like them as 12, 13 to kind of get, hey, remember kids when you watched Rugrats when you were 6? Guess what? Now they're your age. And it was weird. It was weird.
It sounds weird. I mean, I didn't remember that they did that. That sounds awful.
But yeah, that show's not involved with this, Kyle. You only get the Rugrats proper.
That's fine. I'll just take the one and done there. So yeah, no, I think I am sitting absolutely pretty after the first round.
We have 12 shows still to talk about. We've done.
It doesn't matter. We all need small victories, okay? And this is my small victory.
Okay. Well, as we mentioned, it is a snake draft. So what we're going to do now is reverse it up. So that means Kyle gets the first pick here, and he gets to choose the next category. So what category are you going to go with?
So I'm going to go with a category that I feel is very, very thin for the 90s in what it offers to the 90s, because I don't think there was a lot of good scripted dramas in the 90s.
Really?
I don't think there was a lot of good scripted dramas in the 90s. I think there were okay ones, but I think there were ones that really, really kind of, it was heads and tails above the rest. Okay. So I am going with drama. Okay. I can think of a few that I would choose.
Just pick one.
But my number one pick is for the second round, The Sopranos.
Yep.
So that is to me, the top drama of the 90s. And I mean, it just barely made the 90s, but it's in there.
Yeah. So, spoiler, this was my second category I wanted to pick. There's another category which I'll pick for my third round, first pick here. But Sopranos was my number one pick in the drama category. I mean, it's
same.
6 seasons, 21 Emmys, and the Writers Guild, the TV Guide, the Rolling Stone, all at one point named it the number one show of all time at different points. Admittedly, I am behind in my Sopranos rewatch or watch the first time. I've never seen it all the way through. I've seen the first season a couple times now. It's just one of those shows that was always on the back burner of new stuff. Oh, I'll get to that. And then by the time I get to it, wait, what happened? Oh, let me rewatch this. So I've seen the first season like a couple times at this point. I'm in the middle of season 2. So I don't know my Sopranos history. Mark is yelling at his phone right now. Mark from The Good, Bad, and the Watchable. He's like, come on. You guys call yourself podcasters. But Kyle, are you a Sopranos fan or are you just picking it for the clout?
I have never seen an episode of The Sopranos at all. I just know that people think it's good, and I think it's probably the best drama. It really started the prestige drama. Yeah. Before that, we had episodics, no real serialized programming. Well, maybe a little bit, but I think Sopranos started the prestige drama, and I think it's one of the best shows. So I do have to watch it, but I think it was the one that kind of started it all, and I'm really happy with this pick, and I'm really happy that it landed to me.
I'll admit I haven't seen it either, but I've heard great things.
It's like The Wire. You just everyone's like, you need to watch it, but
I haven't watched it either.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was my first pick in the drama category. I'm gonna have to go with my next one here. And I will say, Kyle, my show also came out same year as yours.
I know which one it is.
It went one more season than your show.
Mm-hmm.
It won 5 more Emmys than your show.
Okay.
Including 3 consecutive outstanding drama series wins.
Mm-hmm.
Time, TV Guide, and Rolling Stone all have it among its greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the middle of season 2 watching it for the first time, and it is The West Wing.
Mm-hmm. That's
all
a good
right.
one. That was on my
West
list.
Wing. All right. Thoughts on that? Either of you guys seen The West Wing?
Yes, I've seen The West Wing. I've seen interspersed episodes all over the place for The West Wing. I've seen probably whole seasons. I just don't remember. But yeah, I've seen The West Wing. I think The West Wing is a very, very good show. It was kind of the innovator of the walk and talk.
Tommy Shalami.
Which I will say, I made that. You guys thought I was joking. You didn't know it was a real person. Okay. So I think this is a great pick. This was my second pick for the dramas. So.
All right. So we're on the same page with that. John, West Wing fan?
Never seen it.
Oh man. Well, it's on my service. You can check it out. But it's weird watching it now because of everything going on in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, tonight, as we all know, it's November 10th, a week after the presidential election. So we all know the results of what happened with that. But even, let's say, before that, with everything going on, it's weird watching The West Wing in a world where the biggest story, the biggest scandal on The West Wing wouldn't make the newspaper, if there was even newspapers in 2020, of today. Like it just wouldn't even make a blurb of it because it's just like so quaint, whatever scandal or issue that they have. And
I know.
But watching it though, you do feel like this is how it should be. This is how the world.
Well,
at points, it is the Hollywood version.
Yeah, it just seems like totally idealistic in how it should work, but in reality, it's appealing to people's senses, and no one has that sense anymore. So what's it matter?
Yeah. So, so I'm going with The West Wing. Something I have seen at least a little bit more than The Sopranos.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of The West Wing. So.
All right. So, John.
Good pick. I think it's a good pick. Solid for where you're at.
For where I'm at. Okay.
I meant for the second choice.
All right. Let's see here. Let's go with John for the last pick.
Me. I'm going to pull a little bit of an audible here. I'm going to change what I was going to do.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to change category. And I'm like, dude,
nope.
You can't do that, man. You can't do that, man.
I'm going to choose a comedy series for.
I struggled with this one. Sopranos was I was hoping that you guys would forget about it, and of course, who could? But since I get the last choice, I'm gonna say what I was gonna go with, and I'm gonna pull an audible away from it. I was gonna go with Law and Order SVU. That's been going for a long time, still going. Classic New York show. But I'm gonna pull a little bit of audible, and I'm gonna go with X-Files.
X-Files.
Wow, that's a good one. I didn't think of that one.
I think that has, again, it can fit into several categories, but it's one of those pretty classic ones, and I've only seen a couple episodes, and I really haven't sat down and watched them all, but I've only heard good things across the board about it, and
I wonder how that holds up.
I don't know.
I watched some. I was back when, because they did a revival recently, which you get included. It's 11 seasons you get of the X-Files here, John.
Yeah.
And I was trying to catch up for the revival, and there's some that don't really hold up. Some of the effects are a little bad, but then there's others that do. It's a show that it mixes the anthology format with a serialized format. So some episodes can stand on its own and be a Black Mirror episode, and then other episodes are continuized story, and some work, some don't. Great guest stars. It sci-fi drama. It has a little bit of everything. It did win, or let's see, it was nominated for drama series at one point. Came out in 1993. It was on my list. I think it's like the fourth pick on my list, but they were all kind of interchangeable at the end. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah. That's all right for where I'm sitting third place here on the choice of drama, which is already, like Kyle said, not the strongest category, and I can agree from what I've seen that the effects are a little thin, but that's kind of going to be almost anything that's not animated.
The 90s,
yeah. I mean, that's the time where practical effects were mixing with the beginning of like CGI almost, and you get this like the CGI isn't quite there yet, so I can understand that. So I don't know. It seemed like, looking at it now on my list, it seemed like the right choice for what's been shown so far. So,
all right. So we're 2 rounds down, almost halfway. I guess to remind people, we have comedy, reality and animation, and wildcard left for categories to choose from. On my team, on my service, I have The West Wing and Boy Meets World. John has The X-Files, Spongebob Squarepants, and then Kyle has The Sopranos and Rugrats. Man, can you imagine crossover episodes on any of those? Man, that'd be wild. So, round number 3. I've been in this middle slot for a while, but I get the first pick in round 3. I get to choose the category. And the category I wanted to choose the most was comedy. Round 1 was my second pick. I wanted to go with comedy.
Okay.
And I got to ask you guys on the podcast live here a clarification of what you guys think. Don't feel bad. I mean, it is my birthday, so maybe be nice. But all right. So comedy series. Let me run through my thought process.
Okay.
I would have loved to have picked my favorite comedy of all time, Seinfeld.
That's 89.
Unfortunately, the pilot episode, the one episode aired 1989. Out of the decade. One episode. That's all it was. My next one I was thinking about is a show sort of related to Seinfeld. It's pretty good. But here's where you guys are going to have to fill me in on this here. There is a special. The very first thing that aired on HBO called Curb Your Enthusiasm was on October 17th, 1999. Season 1, officially season 1, is October 15th, 2000. So there's an episode, so it's a HBO special upon which the series is based. Larry's approached by HBO about having his own hour-long HBO special. After a long hiatus, Larry begins performing stand-up comedy again in order to prepare for the special, yada, yada, yada. There it goes. On HBO's site, they have it as two separate things. So here's the thing. I want to ask you, because here's the thing. I didn't want this to slide and then somebody get it at the end. If anyone's getting it, it's going to be me. But if nobody's getting it, that's fine too. What do you guys think? Is it qualify here? Is it part of the Curb Your Enthusiasm, or do you think it's separate? I don't know. I don't know for sure.
It's not listed as episode 1, right?
Yeah.
It's not listed as episode 0, right?
I don't know. Wikipedia just says special.
I would say, to me, I would say no, but I don't really mind the pick. So, but I don't think it's a part of the 90s. But if you want, it's John saying I don't think it's a part of the 90s. But if John, I don't mind the pick.
It's okay, John. Be honest, because I'm going back and forth on it too. What do you think?
I want to say no. However, if it were me, I would want you guys to say yes.
Yeah. That's how I'm in the situation.
Yeah. I don't think it interferes with either of mine or Kyle's picks, so I think I'm okay letting it slide as well.
Letting it slide?
Letting it slide, as in we know it's wrong, but we'll say okay.
Yeah.
How about to make it fair, we just take it off the board?
That's
Is that
fine.
Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
If you want.
Take it off. No one can take it.
That's fine.
It is listed
I don't
as
think it's really a part of the 90s.
If you went on HBO Max or HBO and you typed in Curb Your Enthusiasm, I looked. It's under two different things. There's the series and the special. So
I don't think it. I think it starts in the 2000s. I think we gotta nix it.
All right. So no one's getting Curb Your Enthusiasm. No one's getting Seinfeld. And asked me 5 years ago about this show, I would have said, hell no, get this thing out of here. But I've been watching it. I've been catching up on it. And this show, I mean, if you can't have Seinfeld, you got to go with Friends. You have to go with Friends. That's where I'm going for my comedy pick. Run through some stats here. 10 seasons, 236 episodes, 62 Emmy nominations, including a win for comedy series. This is a show that years and years after it aired on network television, Netflix will just drop hundreds of millions of dollars just for one more year of it having it on their service. Bidding wars, reunion specials. There is an audience for Friends. And people are going to pay just to watch it on this service. So I'm going with Friends as my comedy pick. What do you guys think?
It's on my list.
It's on my list too. It was the number 1 on my list. I think it's a good choice. The smart choice, the safe choice. Yeah, I don't think there's really any other option if you go with the 90s, considering how popular that show was and still is. Yeah. So... yeah,
I should have let him have Curb. Damn it!
I would. I mean, I would have taken it in the next pick, but I'm okay with what's left. So,
and I didn't want to win on an asterisk. Oh, he had Curb. It's not really 90s,
Yeah.
He's already projecting himself to win. All right.
But yeah, I just think you get the quantity of episodes, the fan base. I mean, that show is 90s.
Yeah.
And it was always Seinfeld and Friends. If you ask anyone on the street, name a 90s sitcom, you're thinking of one of those. Because Seinfeld doesn't qualify, you got to pick Friends here. Yeah, I'm interested to see where you guys are going, because I have a list of comedies. I have a couple other ones that are some crowd favorites, some critic ones. This is why I wanted to go with this as my first round, though, because I feel like I had more dramas to pick from. There certainly are comedies, but I just don't know if, like, outside of Seinfeld, Friends, and maybe a couple that you're going to bring up, what's the driving 90s sitcom that I'm forgetting? So maybe you're going to have to tell me. In this round, Kyle gets the middle pick. So Kyle, where are you going?
So I'm between two, and I think it goes back to what is the 90s. And I think I don't know what I want to go with. I'm having such a hard time.
Oh, I'm looking really good in the first round, man. Look at me.
No, because I think either one of these are going to be bango for my streaming service. It's just a matter of what I want to go with.
Well, why don't you tell me, and I'll tell you which one to pick.
I think for my comedy, it's the 90s. You think of it, you think of the 90s. I'm going with Fresh Prince. I am going with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. It is the 90s. I was between another one, but I got to say this is the 90s. If you love the 90s, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that's where it's at. Now, as far as the show itself, I've been actually watching this randomly at points. Some episodes hold up well, some don't, but it's the product of the 90s. So, I mean, when you take things out of context and put it in 2020, it just doesn't work. But overall, the show's still funny. I mean, it's Will Smith at his best. I mean, Carlton is the dance is a entire thing, you know? Yeah. So when you think of the 90s, you think of the show, and I think it's perfect. I think it's a good option. Okay. Yeah, I'm not scared of Friends.
Okay. Well, this is a story all about how Kyle lost the draft of I'm just kidding. No, that's a good pick. I had Friends number one with a bullet, and then I had two shows, and I kept going back and forth. I'd be really curious later, Kyle, if I find out the two shows you're debating between are the same two I'm debating between. Fresh Prince was possibly one of the next ones I would have picked. 6 seasons, 150 episodes. There's going to be a new gritty reboot that's coming based on like this fan-made trailer, Bel-Air. It's coming to Peacock. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, the classic 1990 sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yep. John, you like the pick?
Yeah, good pick. Not something I watch religiously, but it's something I would watch once in a while. It's a really solid pick.
All right. Well, what's your pick, John? The last pick in the comedy category.
Boy, I don't know. You look down my list and it's like everything's already taken. Hang on.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
This is what I was doing.
We are live. We are live.
No, we are live
all day.
We are live. I know. One of the picks. Glad I checked the date because it actually is in the 90s. So that throws me back. All right. Well, I think in that case, the only other major comedy I could really think of, which I know I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, is that 70s show. Very popular. I know a lot of people who really enjoyed it and who it was something that related to them. I can't say again that I watched it religiously or anything. I have seen some episodes. I think it's pretty broadly appealing, and I don't know if I have much more to say than that. That's kind of the last thing on my list that I could even choose. So.
Wow, interesting. That wasn't the show I was thinking of. I completely blanked on that 70s show.
Yeah, yep.
I'm curious to know what other ones you guys had, so I can.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Dave has too,
and make sure that I get the right choice.
Yeah, that 70s show.
Yeah.
You know what? I never got into that 70s show. just I think one, I didn't have the channel really growing up. It aired on Fox, came out in 1998, 200 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. I didn't know they did that much. And they had
They
that.
did that 80s show.
Yeah. The Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny was on that 80s show.
Oh my God.
I will say I applaud the way they ended that 70s show. I always thought this was how I remember, I think on a podcast with Mike back in the day when we were talking about Mad Men. Spoiler alert for the non-ending of Mad Men. And I was like, oh, the ending of Mad Men should be like the end of the decade, because it was always in that one decade. And then it gets to like 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it gets to 1, and then it cuts to black, like a Sopranos type thing. And then he's like, yeah, that's the ending of that 70s show. And I was like, really?
Wow.
So it's just, oh, that's funny that like that's how that 70s show ends, 1979, the countdown, and then it's, you know, and then the 80s, you know, next week on Fox or whatever. But yeah, all right. Yeah. That's definitely more of a hipper pick of what I was gonna go with, because mine would have been like, I don't know what eyeballs would be watching it. I'll have to save it for the very end, but
I think I know what you're thinking, Dave.
I think the problem that I'm having with some of these, and this is more of a meta commentary on it, is while I was born in the 90s and all these shows started in the 90s, I didn't really start consuming TV until the 2000s.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing ones that hit their stride in the 2000s, which are the end of the 90s when the pilots and they were chunking along a little bit. So I think that's part of the problem that I'm experiencing. But you know, that's the way it rolls. You know.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick, though.
Yeah, it's a tough game because, like, you know, with TV, we always have the issue when we did Best of the Decade. It's like, well, how do you pick which shows were in the decade? Because they start at different times, they hit their strides different times, they end at different times. With the movie draft game that they do, it's like, okay, came out 93, so it's 93. It's easy. Yeah. But this makes it a little harder. But I don't know. I think we're doing good so far.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
My next in line was actually The Simpsons, which aired in '89. I didn't I didn't check, and I realized I was like, oh no, I better check before I say something.
Yep.
That would have been interesting. Would that have been your comedy pick, or would that saving it for an animation?
Oh yes, that would have been my comedy pick.
Interesting. So you're jumping around with your animation in different categories.
I am, but you know, I'm looking on Google, and it's a similar thing to Curb Your Enthusiasm. The first full length one was in 1990, but they had a half-hour series premiere December 1989, so it just barely didn't make it.
By like a week or two. Wow.
Yeah. So I that's why I didn't check, and you know what? It turns out I'm glad I checked, because I can make a fool of myself in post instead of live. You know. But.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting here. Now we have two categories left. We have the reality and animation category. So it can be a reality series, it could be an animated series, anything in those genres go here. Or we have the wild card. Anything goes for that category. Wow. I get the first pick, so I get to pick the category here. And I'd say I just have to go with the reality animation category because it's so limited. Wild card, I could go anywhere. But there's only a certain amount of reality shows and animated shows. Not the greatest, you know, category for me, especially because my top pick, I will say, in this category was going to be Spongebob Squarepants. I was going to go animated here, pick a different nostalgic pick. So I got to pick something else for reality animation. My show that I would have loved to have picked, Survivor, my favorite top 5 TV show, best reality show, just missed the cut, came out in 2000. Same with Big Brother. And those were many consider like the birth of reality television. I mean, sure, there's other reality shows, but those were the main ones. So we're kind of like, oh, where was he going to go with? So what I'm going to go with is something I'm not really that big of a fan of, to be honest. I see clips here and there, but man, the amount of episodes for this show, it's not The Simpsons, but it's pretty darn close. Family Guy came out.
It's a good one.
1999.
That
2 episodes.
That is a good one.
All right.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good one. Shoot.
You see today, all you see is violence and whatever on TV. What about those good old classic values or family values? I don't even know the theme song, but I'm picking it for the category. Yeah, Family Guy. Any thoughts on that, John?
Yeah, a solid pick. Not something I really watch a lot of. I feel like the humor doesn't stick to me, which is weird because like it feels like it's that kind of random humor. But I like Robot Chicken, but this is not. It's different random humor. Not something that I really like myself, and it wasn't really anything that had crossed my mind, to be honest. So I think that's a fair choice. Again, tons of episodes. I think it's still going, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So you still have that. You still have people who probably are watching it. So yeah, that's a good one.
All right, Kyle. Any other thoughts on Family Guy?
I wish I had thought of it. It's a great pick. I mean, I totally left it off the board. I honestly didn't even think of it. So I mean, I love Family Guy back in the day. I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but it got to be unwatchable at some point. But
yeah.
But in the beginning, it was very. I mean, it was kind of trend setting in how they did animation and the voices and everything. So yeah, I think it's a great pick.
To me, I'm not a big animated series fan unless it's like when I was a kid watching SpongeBob or whatever, Rugrats. I had it between two for this category, and I kind of picked the lesser of two evils for me. Is like, well, I'd rather have this, my name on this one than the other show, which I'm gonna guess one of you guys are gonna pick. But we'll have to wait and see on that. In this category, we are gonna go with Kyle for the next pick.
Yeah, so I forgot about the show until I just saw it on my list, and I can't believe I almost missed it. I've only seen a few episodes of the show, but I know it is massively popular, or at least it was back in the day. I just remember kids like my age, like getting ready to watch it on TV, like waiting to watch it as it came out. And so my pick for animation, before I say my pick, I'm leaving you in suspense. I could have gone with a real trashy pick that would have been great for like a trashy thing to watch, and I'll go over what that is later. But instead, I'm going with animation. I'm going with South Park.
That's where I thought you were going. That was my between the two. I was like, okay, do I want Family Guy? Do I want South Park? To me, I was not allowed to watch South Park as a kid, or now I'm not allowed to watch it still. My mom would be so mad if she found out I was watching South Park. Came out in 97. There's been 308 episodes since then, so you're getting quite a bit. What is it about South Park, Kyle?
I just know it's widely popular. It still has an impact to this day. I mean, people still talk about it. It's controversial, and it gets headlines, and from some crappy animation, they're able to, with the writing, just piss people off, and I don't know. And people love it. People love it. I don't know how well the older episodes stick, but I mean, you'll see like on comment boards sometimes it's like, oh, this reminds me of whatever this episode of South Park. I'll still get random people being like, did you watch that episode of South? And I'm like, I didn't watch South Park, so I don't. So, but overall, I think it's a good pick considering the options that are left.
Yeah. John, you okay with this pick?
Yeah, I think it's a fair pick. I think it's a good pick. Kind of stretching me thin again, but we'll see what we get here in a second.
You had the number one pick across all of 90's television.
If you know I'm bad at these things, don't rub it in.
All right. Well, John, what is your pick here in this category?
I'm gonna go with an animated show as well. It is one that I watched. Maybe not the most, but it was up there. It was one of the higher view time ones for me. From Cartoon Network. It's Ed and Eddie.
I was thinking that.
Pretty solid one. Maybe a little more into the cult following kind of side, but I think it's pretty strong. I don't know, something about, just a bunch of kids running around trying to, not scam other kids, but take advantage a little bit, get some jawbreakers, have some snacks or whatever, and getting into trouble. Something appeals to that when I was a kid. So,
sorry, I'm trying to look up the how to spell Ed, Ed and Eddie. There's like different versions of the.
It goes 1D, 2Ds, 2Ds and a Y.
Yeah, and then there's also the N in there instead of the and. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
I think conventionally it has an N in it.
Okay. Yeah. Ed, and Eddie. I remember this show. I remember a couple kids in like middle school would watch it, and I remember trying to be like cool and be like, "Oh yeah, I watch it too." And like I would just watch it because they were watching it, just to kind of like be able to talk with them about Ed and Eddie. And it was like in that Cartoon Network of like that show, and it was like Courage the Cowardly Dog, and but yeah, I almost like when we were starting the podcast, I almost like because he said we were the Cartoon Network, and I was like, "Oh, we're Ed, and Eddie." Like, what do you think about that pick, Kyle?
I remember my grandfather used to watch that, which is interesting. He loved that show for some reason, but I never watched it. But I remember seeing the promos for it when I was watching Cartoon Network, but I never really watched it. But I know my grandfather, my like 60, 70-year-old grandfather loved it, which is hilarious to me. But yeah. Right. I think it's an interesting pick. It's
definitely
different.
I did not think that was coming.
Yeah, it's different.
Always keeping us on our toes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have one last category. It's the wild card. Anything goes in this category. Again, I'm just going to read through the teams, the channel, just so everyone knows where we're going in the final round. I have The West Wing, Friends, Family Guy, and Boy Meets World. John has The X-Files, That 70s Show, Ed, and Eddie, Spongebob Squarepants. And Kyle has The Sopranos, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, South Park, and Rugrats. All right, John, first pick. Where are you going for your wild card?
For my wild card, it's a show that is, I believe, getting revived. It is something I watched a lot in high school on reruns. It often premiered very, very late at night. Like, very late at night. It is Forensic Files.
Forensic Files?
Yeah, a little bit of a weird one. Yeah, wow. I don't know if that's the best choice for this competition. However, it is one that I do hold near and dear, and
that's fair.
A lot of the shows I was planning on choosing for this category are gone. But yeah, I it's something that appeals to me. I mean, even now, look at how many, To Catch a Murderer and not the other, well, even the other one, but and then all those different shows that
the true crime, the true crime,
the whole true crime genre is very big right now, and I think it was giving birth in the 90s and getting starting. So I don't think that that's too far off base. Again, I don't know if it's the bread and butter of a streaming service, but it's on Netflix right now. People watch it, and like I said, they're coming out with some new episodes. I accidentally grabbed a image from the new ones that are coming out instead of the old ones, but that's okay.
Okay.
And
you get those episodes.
Yeah, I hope so. It's called Forensic Files 2, so maybe I don't, but I don't know. I have fond memories.
This is a nonfiction show? This was
yes, nonfiction. Sorry.
Nonfiction. So okay.
They were real crimes, and they had access to evidence, so they would show evidence, and they would interview the sometimes family members, sometimes suspects, sometimes the forensic analysis, often the forensic analysts who were doing the work. And unfortunately I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but the narrator is like my gold standard for narrator.
Peter Thomas.
Sure. But yeah, that the voice that he has, and I mean this in a good way, the drone that he has when talking about these crimes and narrating the episodes is, if you haven't watched Forensic Files, give it a chance. It's something that, if you are into this genre, is I think formative on how stuff is done today in the nonfiction, world of true crime and all that.
Yeah, true crime is a good pick. I wasn't expecting that, but I mean, hey, Making Murder, all those shows make sense. 406 episodes, and Kyle, not the original narrator, but the new narrator for the revival here is Bill Camp.
Oh wow!
According to Wikipedia. So there you go. All right, John closed out his streaming service. Kyle, how are you going to close it out?
I really don't know,
Nope.
to be quite honest. So this is kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. I could go trashy TV, just to kind of do a little bit of something different, or I could just go with, the regular old.
Do something different.
Should I do something different?
I don't know.
It's up to you.
All right. Well, I'm not going to do something different, and I'm going to say what I would have done at the end. But my wild card is going to be, surprisingly, from a genre that I said was very thin. But it kind of was the premiere in this kind of dramatic show. I love this show because growing up, I just always remember the theme song. So
I know where we're going.
To me, you have a vast catalog here, and I'm just going to do the theme song and see if you can get it. We won't wobble. We won't wobble. We won't wobble. ER, baby.
Oh, I was waiting. At first, when you were saying like a whole genre and like the theme song, I was like, Kyle, I hate to tell you, but Cops is canceled. You can't do that.
I thought he was going for Cops too, to be honest.
But you're going ER. Okay.
ER.
That was in my list of drama series. 15 seasons, 331 episodes, 23 Emmy wins. Yeah, it's a big show. I never got on the ER train.
I just always remember watching it when I would go to my dad's house, and then they would tape it on a VCR, and then they would watch it on a Friday night. So that's what I remember. It's kind of like a nostalgic pick for me as well, because I didn't really get to watch it because it was kind of an adult show, So I was lucky to get to watch ER.
Wow, ER, man. I'm gonna notice a trend here. There's a lot of NBC must see TV here. ER, Friends. I believe Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was on that as well. I believe my next show I'm gonna pick, West Wing, I believe, was also NBC was doing things right in the 90's.
Yeah, they were.
All right, I have the last pick. I have the wild card, and oh man, I'm going back and forth on something. Do I go with something, as Kyle was saying, pretty good, solid pick, a lot of episodes, solid show, or do I do something like fun, unexpected? Because I have a few of those I could throw in too. I'm worried that though, that's too like, oh, that's fun, but I don't know if that's really gonna drive people to the service. So instead, I'm gonna go with, I think, the safer option. It kind of combines both of your shows. It involves the crime of John's Forensic Files. It involves the prestige NBC drama of ER, Law and Order. The original Law and Order.
The original Law and Order was on then? It wasn't the 80's?
I believe, you can fact check me, 1990 was Law and Order. And I have 20 seasons.
Wow, yeah.
1990, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so September 13th, 1990. 456 episodes of Law and Order, one outstanding drama series. It's just the catalog I'm going for here, man. I don't get all that like SVU and all the extra Law and Orders, but Law and Order, I mean, that's people marathon this thing still. It's comfort food, you know. It has the true crime kind of. Some episodes were ripped from the headlines. A lot of guest stars, a lot of famous people went in and out of Law and Order. 20 seasons of material. I think that's a solid pick.
I think so too. I think
I'll say that that and SVU are both on my list as well. And I audibled on one of them out of there at one point, like I mentioned. So I don't fault you at all for this. This is a strong pick.
Yeah, that is a strong pick. There is a lot of them. My mom and my family used to watch them in syndication all the time, always on.
Yep. And now it's going to be the exclusive home, or their exclusive home will be David TV Plus. So you're gonna have to subscribe.
Okay.
To watch more of it. Now, let's see here. We can run through quickly what things didn't make the cut. What things just we didn't pick, was on your list, because now the game's over. Let's just go through the categories here. Let's start off with comedy. What comedy shows didn't make the list, Kyle?
Didn't that I had kind of in the running, possibly.
Yeah.
So I had Everybody Loves Raymond, possibly.
Yeah.
Frasier, possibly. Home Improvement, possibly. I don't know if this would be considered a comedy, but I had Freaks and Geeks down.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say it's a comedy. That's another one where it's like originally we were going to do a one and done like category, a mini series category. That was the only one I could think of that was one and done. Like there was a lot of back then. There wasn't many mini series because they wanted them to run long and long.
Yeah,
those are all on the list. Those bring me back to my childhood. I had Frasier on a list just because it had like 264 episodes. It won like crazy amount of Emmys, like 5 in a row for comedy series. Like, but then I was like, what, age group is gonna be, I don't know, like who's dying to see Frasier. My girlfriend's gonna kill me for that, but I mean, I just don't know, like out of 5 shows I can only pick 5 shows, so I had some other ones that I think are interesting. I don't know, they're comedies. I think they would have been fun though.
I'm forgetting one too that I thought of. Family Matters.
Wait, I think Family Matters was 89, I think.
Wait, was it?
I think so, because I think I was looking that one up, and I think that's not on the...
Maybe that's why I didn't have it down either.
I have 89, yeah.
Oh, man.
Did I do that? But I had Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Yeah, I had that down.
It came out in 98, 358 episodes.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I recently watched it again, and I feel like it doesn't hold up.
Hold
up. Yeah.
The new version does not work at all on CW.
Yeah.
It's the Drew Carey one that works.
Yeah.
But I had The Daily Show.
Yep, I had
just
that
in general
down.
Because in 96, Craig Kilborn was on it. 99, Jon Stewart. That's a lot of content.
I had that on there as well.
And then I don't know if it's comedy or drama, but Sex and the City. Just
that's a good one.
HBO there.
That is a good one.
John, anything real quick on comedy?
And you guys have far surpassed my list of like 4 or 5. So.
For drama, all mine were picked. I had Sopranos, West Wing, Law and Order, X-Files, and ER. Those were my...
I had maybe NYPD Blue. Was kind of popular back then. And even though it's cheesy as hell, you could use it as a nostalgic pick. But Dawson's Creek was like very, very popular back in the day. But it's not my cup of tea. But it was very, very popular. I know some people that still watch it.
I think the only one that I had, which I don't watch it at all, but I know it's very popular, was Star Trek. You had two big series. Deep Space Nine and one of the other ones that came out in the 90s as well. So that was my like super backup. That's like my last on my list. But yeah, all the other ones I listed were all got taken over the course of this. So
let's see, the animated reality category. my animated shows were mostly like, okay, what's left? Hey Arnold, Doug,
Yeah.
the Nick ones. I had two, I think, that could have been interesting for reality. I mean, obviously you have Real World,
Yep.
614 episodes from like 33 seasons of Real World.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I thought would have been a fun one to do, surprise one in there. Judge Judy,
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
1996.
Could have done that.
Judge
yeah.
Judy. But
I didn't think of that one.
What do you guys think?
I was watching that the other day, and I didn't even think of that.
In the Real World vein, I was gonna do, because I always watch this. I didn't like Real World so much, but I liked the Real World Road Rules Challenge, where they go against each other in all these little battles. I remember that, watching that all the time. I remember one specific challenge. The guys had to fill up like a tube full of sweat when people were biking, and they had to scoop sweat off of each other and dump it into this little tube. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
What was, I just thought of one. What was that show where they had to do, they had to do things like where the hat's full of spider. Yeah, Fear Factor.
Fear Factor. Yeah.
I was thinking
that was
just
early 2000s.
Was it? Oh,
So,
okay. Well,
yeah,
I'm glad I
'cause
didn't think of
I think it
that.
was after the Survivor
almost-
bump, probably.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I
Okay. Well, I'm
almost
glad I
had
didn't think of
that
that
on
then.
my list.
I guess to be honest, I had Forensic Files and Cops under reality.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to go for Cops, and I ended up leaning on the animation side at the last minute.
Yeah.
I think I don't think I got any of my first choices except for Nostalgia. Even though some of them I picked first.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked.
all
For nostalgic, some other ones I had listed. I'm a big Power Rangers kid. And even if that original Mighty Morphin series is all I got, there's 155 episodes of that. But if I get 27 seasons of Power Rangers, you get nearly 1,000 episodes of Power Rangers.
That's insane. I didn't know they made that
Still
many.
going in 2020. And then the other one I had, this was the one I almost picked over Law and Order just for fun. Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Ooh.
You got a game show, 120 episodes. And it's funny because when I Googled Legends of the Hidden Temple, just to see, is it in the 90s, just to double check, the top entry when I typed in Legends of the Hidden Temple was, where can I watch Legends of the Hidden Temple? So people are dying to watch it. So they were waiting for somebody to post it. But
another one that I had for animation was Futurama. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's I liked it. It's not very like crazy popular, but it's a good animated show.
I had Courage and Dexter as animated ones as well on the back burner.
Dexter's Lab.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not Dexter.
Not Dexter.
No. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of picks. At first, I was worried because originally we were going to do, okay, let's do one from the 90s and 2000. That would have been too much. But I feel like the 90s, there's more than I thought. There was a good group of TV shows to pick from.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough for people to choose.
Yeah.
I personally think mine is the best, though.
I'm not scared. We'll let the people decide.
I'm not scared.
And here's what we're going to do. We're going to post, let's see, a tweet. Let's do a tweet on, let's see, we're streaming live Tuesday, November 10th here on let's see, I'm trying to think, Sunday at noon, whatever that Sunday is. I'm going to look it up now. I'm doing this live on the podcast. Sunday, the 15th of November. Go to Dual Redundancy's Twitter page, add Dual Redundancy. There will be a poll, and you can choose which host had the better channel. And then we will reveal the results, all of them compiled, on the following podcast on the 17th, on Tuesday 17th. That gives 2 days of voting.
Wow.
People love voting. They can't get enough of it. And we'll do that there. But just to remind you, the teams, the channels, the streaming services. Mine is The West Wing, Friends, Family Guy, Boy Meets World, and Law and Order. John has The X-Files, That 70s Show, Ed, and Eddie, Spongebob Squarepants, and Forensic Files. Then Kyle has The Sopranos, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, South Park, Rugrats, and ER. All right. So yeah, again, Twitter, add Dual Redundancy. You can vote. Maybe I'll throw up an Instagram page as well. You can vote on the poll. at Dual Redundancy there as well. We got a lot coming up. A lot coming up on the podcast. Next week, not only will we reveal the winner of this draft here, but we'll talk about a new series, A Teacher, which is coming out on FX on Hulu, and The Crown Season 4. We'll talk about the premiere of The Crown Season 4.
Nice.
Make sure you never miss an episode by going to YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com. And of course, we're live Tuesday nights on Twitch, twitch.tv/dualredundancy. Always a good time there. And man, do I have to thank both of you guys for going along with this crazy idea, doing this show tonight, every week, every single week. You never miss a week of the podcast. And I couldn't do it without you. I'm so glad I get to spend my birthday, my 30th birthday with both of you. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Oh, man. Well, until next time, I'm the winner of this draft, David Allen.
I'm the winner of this draft, John Berwick.
And I'm just a winner, Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy's TV draft game. Goodbye, everybody.